Hello, it's Coy, and welcome to the Eclectic Cottage. I thank you for joining me today. Back with the Dia de los Muertos journals and ready to sew the signatures in. And I thought I'd turn the camera on and bring you along with me. Yeah, I think these are going to come out cute. And, let's see. I pulled a little of the chimney rug apart, and I think that these pieces of fabric are going to be fabulous. Just loosely tied around these. At the end of the day, might hide the guy's eyes a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I have just, folded a piece of paper, and I always kind of mark. I mark the center and then close to the top, close to the bottom. And I always mark whether it's, the top. I always put a little T up there. And let's see, this one I've kind of already got ready. Let's do this one. And then I just take, it's going to be two, this is kind of easy. It's a two signature journal. The Halloween ones were the first 2 signature journals I've made, and I kind of liked it. So I'm doing it again. And I just mark it where we're going to put our holes. All right, there. And the second one here. Let's go ahead and get our pokey tool out. Get our holes made. This is my little toolbox I use for sewing in signatures. I usually, keep some. I have a lifetime supply of embroidery floss, so I usually use that. It's nice and strong, holds everything together well. And I have a pair of scissors. I have this little screwdriver. I haven't used that in a long time. Sometimes I've used that in the past as a pokey tool. And I always keep a seam ripper in there. All right, and my needle usually stays right here. This is a magnet that I just put in here because, and it's, the magnet sticks to the metal little thing, and my needle is usually right there, so I don't lose it. I also keep the needle, I don't know if you can see it right here. I have a magnet there too, so I don't lose the needle when it's on my desk. Anyway, I wouldn't say that it's the ultimate method of doing things, but it is just the way that I have fallen into doing it. Okay, so we have our holes here. And then we take our signatures. I'm going to sew the second one in first. This is going to be the second signature. We want to make sure that we go through and check to make sure that our pages are right side up, If you want to make any last minute changes on which pages go where, this is the time to do it. Because once they're sewn in, they're sewn in. And everything looks pretty good. On this one, let's check the first one. Maybe this is too much of that all there together. Let's put this blank page in there somewhere. How about here? The blank page. All right. And it looks pretty good, like everything is right side up and ready to go. And I just simply mark where my holes are going to go. That's the first signature. This is the second one. I find the middle. This is my middle page on this one. Make sure my T is at the top. And let's do this. All right, I like to put my giant paper clips on so things don't move around. It's completely optional. You can put whatever clips that you happen to have around your desk. I usually use these big clips. And make my holes. Let's get our holes into this one. Okay, and I'm going to sew the second signature in first. You always decide whether you want your ends on the inside or the outside of the journal. I'm going to put mine on the inside. So I start with the center hole. Most of you have done a 3-hole pamphlet stitch before. But I figured since we're all here together, let's just do this. Okay. Going through the top hole. I sometimes put a little piece of tape on the tail end here so it doesn't get lost, but I didn't do that this time because, well, here it is. The tape wasn't all that handy, but to keep the because the tail will pull, you know, you'll pull it through. So I sometimes just put a little piece of tape there so it doesn't get pulled through. Or at least it doesn't get as pulled through as easily. How about that? All right, so we've gone down through the middle, up through the top, down through the bottom. Okay, making sure things are taut. Nice and taut. And then back up through the middle again. Important that the needle, that the thread be on either side of this middle thread here. Let me take that off. Okay, so now we have the thread on either side, and we can give it a little tie. Make sure things are taut. Right over left, left over right. Okay, that one's done. All right, now the other signature. And I use a nice big needle with a nice big eye because my eyes aren't what they used to be. I use that for easy threading. Okay, and we're going to go down through the center. Let's put our little piece of tape back on there. Up through the top. Down through the bottom. And back up through the center. Okay, make sure your thread's on either side of the middle. I don't know, here some people call it the bridge. On either side of the bridge. All right, make sure we're taut. Okay, on the inside, taut on the outside as well. And give her a little tie. Right over left, left over right. All right, so nothing fancy. It's just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It is, honestly, it's pretty much the only one that I use. The only time I use more is if the journal is larger. I will use a 5-hole pamphlet stitch when it's a full-size journal because you have more space. You need that extra hole. Other than that, I always just use the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I know a lot of people get very fancy with their, you know, sewing in their signatures. And I don't know. I just haven't been there yet. Maybe someday I will feel the urge to do that. But for now, 3-hole pamphlet stitch usually works good enough for me. All right. Shall we do it again? This one I already have marked. So let's make our holes. I keep my my little Brighton kit close by. It's always easy to find because it's in that tin. Because in the beginning, trying to figure out where my needle went was a thing. It was a whole thing. So ever since I put it in that tin, I always know where it's at. It's always close by. I can always locate it easily. Okay, this one I've already, before I turned the camera on, I already marked everything, I think, on both signatures. I'm pretty sure, but I didn't on the third one, so we'll do that one together again. You can tell me in comments what method you usually do for binding. You know, if it's not the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, what do you like to use? It's just not something that's ever felt all that important to me. To change it up, if it's not broke, don't fix it, has usually been my concept. I've been using this for a lot of years. I have not been junk journaling forever, but I've always been an art journaler. And we make our own journals in art journaling too. So that part is not new to me. I had all the tools and everything I needed from my art journaling days. All right, well, Frida is definitely sprinkled throughout my my pages. She's as Mexican as it gets in my eyes, and she just reminds me of Dias de los Muertos. When I think of Day of the Dead, I think of Frida, so I just have Frida sprinkled throughout. I put 2.5 times. I know a lot of people use 3 times, but I don't need long tails on my center threads. If you want to put dangles and such, you would go 3 times instead of 2.5. 3 times the length of your journal. With your thread, I'd usually go 2.5. And my least favorite part of binding is threading the dumb needle. The big old eye really helps, but sometimes I still have a little struggle, just like I am right now. So let's get a nice clean edge on this. Try it one more time. I think it's not helping that I have glue on my fingers. All right. The struggle is real, folks. The struggle is real. All right, Frida. Do you want to be in the front? Or do you want to be in the front, Frida? I'll put you in the back. So we're going to go down through the middle. And I'm going to put my little piece of tape back. My pages are all about the same size this time, so I'm not really, that worried about using the clips. But if you're worried about keeping your pages intact and in the right order, go ahead and put your clips on. Up through the top. Down through the bottom. Back up through the middle. I'm not afraid to make the big holes. I use my awl. I kind of push it all the way down. I'm okay with the holes being a little bit large. What's going on here? Are you not cooperating? Oh, you were through this. Okay, my needle was going through the threads there, which was not what I wanted, so. Okay, back up, and I need to make sure that the needle's on that side of the bridge, if that's what we're calling it. I don't call it a bridge. I think that's weird. Okay, we need a little tighten. And we're tight. It's a go. We're on either side of the middle thread. Left over right, right over left. And we've got that one done. Okay. I must have gone a little long that time. And signature 2. Some more thread. 2.5. All right, maybe we have an easier time threading our needle this time. I should have gone to wash all the glue off my hands. The thread, I feel like, is sticking to my fingers. I've got stuff going on. I've got glue and distress ink and everything. It's been a crafty day. I had a little needle threader in my case for a while. I wonder where that thing went. I haven't needed it that much since I started keeping track of the big needle with the big eye. But I could kind of use it right now. This might be my second choice needle where the eye is big, but not the biggest one. Anyway, let's get our second. This is our first. Let's get our top signature sewn in. So we're going in through the middle. I'm going to put the little piece of tape. Okay, down through the, we went down through the center, up through the top hole. back down to the bottom. And up through the center. Why do you seem not to want to go through the hole? All right, let's make sure our thread is on either side of the middle thread, and it is now. Magnets are a really great way not to lose your needle. Not to be looking all over for that needle in the haystack on the desk. Taut here. Okay. And right over left, left over right. A nice square knot, and there we go. 2 down and 1 to go. Go on this side. Where's my T? It goes up there. I don't know where my neighbors go all time of night. It is like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear them in and out. They just left. They just came back. Where are you going? 3 o'clock in the morning. I guess it's none of my business. They're relatively new neighbors. They bought the house next door, which is nice to have someone in there, but I haven't really met them. You know, I don't know. It's not like back in the day when everybody knew their neighbors. I don't know. I never see them on that side. The neighbor that was on the other side, my door and her door, kind of see each other a little bit more, so I was more familiar with her. We might both be out in the driveway at the same time or something. But the neighbors, I had neighbors renting this house next door for a long time, and I never even saw them either. Okay, 2.5. Maybe it's just me. Am I an unfriendly person? I moved here like a minute before COVID started. Like right after I moved in November, and then went home in December. November, December, January. No, I went home in January. My brother-in-law and my dad were both really not well at the same time. They were both in the hospital on the 2nd floor. And, I mean, this was COVID days, right before COVID. That was January. COVID, you know, that started like in March, COVID. But lost them both. Lost them both within a couple of weeks of each other. They were both on the same floor in the hospital. That was the hardest time in my life. Anyway, when I was stuck in Florida for 6 months because, you know, while I was there, the do not travel ban, you know, what do you call it? Where you have to, where we were all, you know, staying in place and we couldn't leave. That whole thing started going on. And we weren't allowed to travel. Oh, aren't we glad that part's over? But things have never been the same. We lost two very important people in our family's lives at the same time, within 2 weeks of each other. And the only two men, really, besides my son, the only two men in our family. My dad and my brother-in-law. It's awful, awful, awful. On every level, it was awful. Still is. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that right now. I will say that since then, at that time, my son just turned 40, and he was the last boy born into our family until 18 months ago, when my grandson, my little Bubba, our grandson was born. He was the first boy born into our family in 40 years. And then exactly a month ago, my niece had a bouncing baby boy. And now we have two. We have two. Oh, we have two baby boys. Lots of girls. Our family is filled with girls. Girls, girls, girls. All right, so down through the middle, up through the top. Oh, come back. I think if we wouldn't have had our tape, we might have lost our tail right there. All right, back down through the bottom. And then finally back up through the center again. Right over left. Left over right. All right, it's going pretty quickly. Frida and Frida. Hello, Frida. Hello, Frida. And our last signature. There's that piece of tape I was looking for. Come back here. That magnet even holds the needle on top of that tin. 1, 2.5. All right, let's get our T at the top. Mark our spots. Thread our needle. So, before I turned on the, well, I did turn it on. Earlier today, I started looking at that Chendi rug again, and started, pulling it apart, and it was crazy. It was like one surprise after the other, and I videoed that. So I'm going to, at the end of this video, I'm going to just add that little, it's very short. I'm just going to add it on to the end of this video. It's just a little follow-up on what went on with the Chendi. I think you'll like it. If you have a Five Below or a home store, you should be able to get one for a little over $5. We don't have many stores here. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Leesville is a very small military town. And we don't have a lot of retail here. So we have to travel. When I go to my daughter's, my daughter lives in Lafayette. And Lafayette, actually, that's really all Lafayette. That's all Lafayette is. Lafayette is restaurants and shopping. It has every store you can think of. So people come from far and near to shop there. And I look forward to that when I go to see the kids. So, all right. And there we have it, folks. Uh-oh. Oh, good. For a minute there, I was afraid I might have tied things in upside down. But I did not, thank goodness. All right, there we have it. Dia de los Muertos 1, 2, and 3. And next video, we will start working on adding the pockets, the tucks, the belly bands, the flips, all the stuff that hold the journaling spots. Okay, I appreciate you coming in and, and staying for a while. Leave me a comment, say hello, let me know you were here. Tell me what's going on your desk. If you have a YouTube channel or an Etsy shop that you would like the rest of us to know about, leave your information down there. Okay, we are creating a little community here where, of give and take. And don't forget, if there's anything here, if you're working on your own Day of the Dead journal or anything, whatever you're working on. If you would like to come over to the Eclectic Cottage Cafe Facebook group, you can leave your photos or your videos or just a little word or two about what you're doing over there as well. We would love to see it. And again, that's the Eclectic Cottage Cafe on Facebook. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to leave you, though, with a little, that little update video that I did on the Chindy. It's very short. If you want to watch it, great. If not, I'll just say goodbye for now, and I will see you real soon. Stay tuned for the Chindy update. Bye. Okay, just a really quick update on the Chindy rug. Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun. I had no intention on sitting here and unraveling this rug, but it's like every single one is a surprise. Look what's in here. Well, look at this one. And I just keep unraveling, keep going and going, because it's a mystery. Look at what has come out of that thing. Okay. When you look this up, it says that it's cotton, but this is not cotton. It might not be silk. You know, the highest quality, silks, but they're really beautiful pieces. Look at this one. I might use this one on one of the Day of the Dead journals, just because it's bright colors. This one was interesting. It had little, it has some teeny tiny, the tiniest little sequins I've ever seen. But it also has these letters, like there's an M and a C and a B and a K. So, it's a mystery rug. Entertainment purpose. If for entertainment purposes only, I suggest if you have a Five Below close by, that you go and get yourself one. And I also noticed at the same time when we got this one that there's a home store near my daughter, and they also had them for about the same price. One may have been $4.59 and the other $5.49 and the other $5.99, something like that, but similar in price and fun. I can't wait to use some of these. I know I'm going to use some in the, I wanted to make sure to get it while I was making the Muertos journals so that I could use some as a closure or on the spine.